just revise what you are. Even if you break, do what it takes. Now go and make us proud. That's enough, John.
Don't carry on.
Don't you love us at all? Find it in your heart to play the part. Now shut your mouth and smile. Can't you see that you belong? You belong now, move along. Hurry up, don't stay. Hurry up, wait a while. Hurry up, make up your mind. It's an evil test to be the best and leave the rest behind. Hurry up, don't stay. Hurry up, wait forever. Hurry up, or fade away. Soon they're gonna make you tear it up and throw it to the flames. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, don't ever. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, wait forever. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, don't ever. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Can't you see that you belong? Hurry up, John, don't go too far. No one knows where you are. Better toughen up and be a man. Play the hand that lies.
That's enough, John. Don't stare too long. Girls are starting to talk.
J'ai faim de toi. Tu sais que j'ai besoin. J'ai faim, oui, j'ai faim de toi. Pas d'autre pour moi.
Hello and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. You know, I always think just before I say that, and this time I'm gonna bring the show to a screeching halt and just say, I feel like I should say bi-weekly. I say weekly, but it's
Oh.
bi-weekly. I mean, is it not? We're not weekly. We're
It's
far
at
from.
It's at the most bi-weekly.
It's at the. Okay, so let's just retake
Hasn't
that.
even been that lately.
Right. Hello and welcome to Totally Tell Me, at the most bi-weekly entertainment review podcast. We talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name is Dominic Mercurio, and I am here with Laura Weinbach.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
What about you?
It's going great, actually. I feel like, summer's here, summer's queer, and I've just been enjoying the sunshine, just basking in the glory of what God gave us.
How have you been doing such tale?
Well, I guess I just have sort of been, I've been a real out and abouter these past couple weekends, to be quite frank with you. I mean, I've been like kind of all over this great state of California.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of.
Such as where?
Well, okay, I'm just going to hold that thought just for like one brief moment and just say that, here on this program, we're live on YouTube and Twitch. If you're watching us, you could be watching us live right now. You could be listening to us later on podcast services where we go up a few days later. So either way, however you're listening and or watching, we appreciate you being here. And if you are watching live, you can chime in the chat and we'll see what you have to say and incorporate you in. And in the second half of the episode, we'll be reviewing I saw the TV Glow by Jane Schoenbrun, which is it's a new coming of age slash horror, I guess, movie, which we'll be talking all about in the second half of the episode. But for now, we're just gonna kind of chit chat for a little bit. So hang out if you so wish, which you should. I mean, there's simply no reason not to. So, Anyways, to get back to what you were saying, Laura, where have I been? I have been, well, the first bout of sunshine I had was last weekend. I went camping in Sardine Lake. It's a classic spot. I'm sure you've heard it time and time again. But Sardine Lake is like a spot that's about an hour away from Tahoe in the Great Lakes, as they say. Actually, they don't say that.
It's not the Great Lakes.
It's not the Great Lakes. It's not the Great Lakes at all. But it is the Lakes Basin. Anywho, went camping with actually a big old group of friends. But unfortunately not you. I feel like
I
you
don't
would.
think I was invited.
Oh, you're always invited. I guess that maybe I didn't officially invite you this year, but I guess you're always invited. I mean, you're simply always invited.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
But no, it's so true though.
Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's sort of become a bit of a yearly tradition, and it's like been growing in size as the years go on. I think what happened is I probably mentioned this to you like 6 months ago when we were getting our camping passes. And then I don't know. I don't think it ever panned out. But yeah, we've been doing it now 4 years in a row, and the first year it was 3 of us, then it was 4 of us, then it was 5 of us, and then now this year it was 9 of us.
Just the 9 of us.
Just
wow.
the 9 of us. It was like a big old party, just a big old group of us, just
Amazing.
just powwowing, I suppose. We went to Sardine Lake, which is a gorgeous lakeside resort, but we're like in the campgrounds outside of it, but you can kind of still use like the facilities of the resort. So it's
what?
Oh,
The
such
bathroom?
as well, I guess technically you could walk all the way to their bathroom, but that would be a little wild. But the camp well, it would be like a half a mile.
Oh, damn. So you're not even close to that resort.
Well, we're a half a mile away from the cabins.
That's far as hell away.
I mean, a half a mile. It's like a 7 minute
That's
walk.
like a 5 minute. Yeah, that's a 5 minute run right there.
Well, yeah, exactly. But there's also
Half of a
bathrooms closer.
10-minute run.
That's true. That's true. But there's also a much closer bathroom though. Like that's where I was, doing my business.
And how is the bathroom?
The bathroom, it's covered in flies. It's pretty stinky. But it's got a seat. It's got a hole. There ain't no flush on that shit, but you'll definitely just be shitting into a hole and really getting a good look at what you've done and what many other people before you have done. Do you ever do that? Do you ever do that when you're in that situation? You just sort of look down.
Look at what other people did.
You just sort of look down at that hole.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn,
Okay.
look what everyone has done here.
Unfortunately, yes, I have done that, and it is disturbing, to say the least.
Like, it's a huge pile.
It is.
Like, damn, that's crazy.
Imagine being in it.
Well, that's a
Standing
nightmare.
in it.
Oh, well, that's a true nightmare. Like, falling in.
No, like just like having to go in there.
Oh, like as a cleaner or something?
Or if you were like hiding in it.
Why would you be hiding it? Like from a bear or something?
A bear or Nazis. It's
Oh.
so sad. There was a scene in Schindler's List where the kids have to hide in a toilet, and it's like really sad and terrible.
Oh,
And
right.
it reminds me of that.
Okay, I mean, yeah. I mean, well, it's a good thing we're not living in those.
We're not in that time.
in those
No, we're just
times.
gonna live in the year of Trump starting 2025.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, no.
boy.
I hope not.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I don't know. We don't have to talk about it, but
I guess we could brief it ever so quickly, but yeah, it's a bit of
did
a
you
bummer.
watch the debate?
The debacle, you mean? Yeah. Well, I watched. I will admit I didn't watch the whole thing. I did start it, and I kind of planned to watch it all. I just didn't
Yeah.
have time because it's kind of been a really busy weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's my duty as a sworn American to I guess watch that stupid shit. but I
I
haven't.
didn't watch it.
You haven't? I kind of feel like
No,
I
I
should.
just sort of watched clips and like heard some snippets and things.
I mean, he busted it up in there. I mean, Joe Biden busted it up. I hate to say it.
That's what people are saying.
He really busted it up. And
I heard he's gonna get canceled from the bill.
well, yeah, I guess like the latest rumor
Something.
as of, I mean, yeah, I heard that rumor that he might not even go for re-election, which I mean, what? Then what? Is Kamala going?
Gavin Newsom could be a good contender.
I guess so, but we're so fucked. Like, I don't think anyone, unfortunately, I hate to say it, could just like swoop in right now and beat Trump. He's just got too much of that, too much of that
Trump
fucking
power.
idiot vote, He's got the fucking idiot vote on like lockdown, and there's a lot of those votes.
It seems like Gavin Newsom would be a really good contender.
Well, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would be down with that, obviously. I mean, I feel like he's done a decent enough job here in the old.
He seems
C
like
of
a
A.
likable guy. It seems like the type of guy that like people who are on the fence type of people would totally vote for. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah.
Like, I just think it would be a good look. You know what I mean?
I mean, I suppose. I just.
Like, I don't think Kamala Harris is gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, she's just not gonna win.
But you think Gavin would?
Well, maybe. I think he would have a better chance. Yeah, I think he'd have a better chance
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to get those swing votes. You know what I mean?
I suppose. But anyways,
Wait.
back to, or unless you want to,
Can you hold for 2 seconds? I'm just gonna open the door because it's hot as a dick up in here.
go ahead and do that.
I'll be right back.
In the meantime, let's read some comments up in here. You don't know what a handicap in golf is, says Nicole. I guess a handicap. Well, here's what I'm gonna predict is the case, because I mean I play video games, so I'm just gonna apply my gamer knowledge to that. And a handicap in gamer terms would be when you're like making something more difficult for the other player, as to handicap them, which I don't really know if that's a very PC term, but it just is what it is. To handicap them, to bring them down to the level of you, so that it's like an even playing field. So I assume maybe in golf it's a bit of a similar situation where you're like doing something that makes it a little tougher on the one who's clearly better. Like if you're playing against a pro, you would want to handicap them so that it's like, you're somewhat even, so it's like even worth playing or whatnot. Maxime, you said starring Fred Durst. Fred Durst is in the movie that we're going to be talking about later, which is pretty fucking hilarious. But Laura, you're back, so I mean we could stop
back.
reading comments, I suppose.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyways, I mean, yeah, I mean, by the way, like, you know what's crazy? For
What?
everything that we've lived together, me and you, Laura, we've never been camping together. Is that not?
We haven't?
Is that not a wild fact?
Wait, well, we went to.
We've almost made it happen. I feel like multiple. I guess like when we did, no, because we didn't really camp at the Camp Out Fest. We had a room. I was thinking maybe.
Oh,
that
at
when-
Big Stick?
Yeah. But we've never gone on like a real
Wait,
camping
no,
trip.
we did camp at Blackberry Jam Fest. Remember?
Blackberry
I did have a
Jam
tent
Fest.
that where I met Sarah Glass.
Oh yeah.
Or not, where I became friends with
Oh
her.
yeah, we all were in one tent. Or wait, did I just visit your tent? Oh yeah, I was in a separate
No,
tent.
we were all. No, you weren't. No, you slept in my tent.
Oh really? Okay.
I had like a 10-person tent.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
being in it for a long time. I just wasn't sure if at a certain point I left to go to mine or not. But yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, we did do a camp. We did do a camp out. That's true. But I guess we've never like. I guess what we haven't done is like gone to a campsite and just hung out, in a non-working environment.
I know. That is surprising.
Yeah.
Although I think that we stopped at Sardine Lake once, maybe while we were on tour.
Have you ever been to Sardine Lake? I don't
feel
know
like
if you
we
have.
stopped there once, and I think Alex was with us, and like, yeah, something like that.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, could be.
But I don't think we camped there that day. But we stopped at a lake, and it was nice.
Yeah. Well, anywho.
And I think we went to a nice bathroom in a hotel.
Which a nice bathroom at a hotel. Well, if that was the same evening, I highly doubt those two things happened together because Sardine Lake's pretty secluded. Unless we were, did we stay in Sierra City? That's like the closest city.
No.
Hard to say.
I don't know. I think we were coming from Bend, Oregon, but I could be wrong. Or maybe we were in like Coos Bay, Oregon.
Oh no, it wouldn't.
Or I don't know.
I don't know.
No, it might have been.
Have you ever been to Sierra Hot Springs?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is
Well.
that where you also went?
Hey, yeah. I hate to say it, but I did. Went there.
When did you go there?
It was the
Really?
same trip.
Was it naked people?
Yeah, it was very naked.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Were
naked.
people doing any moves and stuff? Were they like,
Oh, like my last Hot Springs adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time there was no woman going, ah.
oh, man, that's not worth it then.
There was no one centering their chakras in a sort of Alm fashion. This
oh my
time.
God.
I feel like there's a chakra vibe, of course. Like, of course there's a chakra vibe. It's like hot springs. So it's very chakra-esque, but I was not like seeing, chakras leave the body through like spiritually divine breathing techniques and or shouting and the likes. But yeah, I mean, we were camping there too. It was really nice. There's like one of the pools is out just in the middle of a field. It's amazing. That's a great one to go. We went like right as evening was hitting, so it was like the stars were starting to come out, but there's still a little bit of light. It was just gorgeous. There was like bats that like would swoop down.
I had bats. I saw some yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, I don't know about those guys.
Bats. Well, what's
Yeah.
wild is like, how do they? I mean, I know how. Like, I know how. Like, I know the information that's given to me. Echolocation. I get it on like on a spiritual level. But what I don't get on a physical realm level is like, how are they? They're getting so close to us, They're
I
like
know.
right fucking here, but they're like,
I don't like that.
yeah, but they somehow
like
know
that.
to not hit me. I don't buy
No,
it.
they don't know. They
See,
don't
I
know
don't
that.
I don't buy it either. I'm kind of with you.
No, they will hit you.
Well, they didn't hit me, but they may as
They
well
might
have.
though. They might though.
Wait, what was your bat experience?
I saw them last night on a little camping trip I myself had embarked upon.
Oh.
For information.
Oh, wait, you really went camping last night?
I did actually, yes.
Where'd you go?
Guerneville.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm going next week.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we should have
Well,
coordinated
it's
or something.
No, it did not. It happened very unexpectedly. It was sort of a on the spur kind of thing.
Okay.
See, Anton and I had to play at a wedding yesterday in Guerneville, and that was all I expected to be doing there.
Uh-huh.
But then Anton's brother miraculously just called us up and said, "Oh, I'm going to be camping in Guerneville tomorrow night. Why don't you let me take your child camping with us, or take him to the campsite so he can hang out with his cousin, and then you guys can come and pick him up afterwards or camp." And
Right.
so we thought, oh, well, that's an interesting persuasion.
Yeah.
And so,
Wait, were you
you
camping?
know,
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
what?
Keep going.
No, it's okay.
Were you camping like on the river there, or?
Yes, right on the
Okay.
river, on
Okay.
the Russian River.
I've seen those sites. Yeah.
No, the wedding was at this like nice resort called Dawn Ranch, which is the only like nice place I've seen in Guerneville. I mean, like upscale kind of place.
Yeah.
No offense to Guerneville. I like Guerneville. I've never been to, like a resort there really.
Oh, Dawn Ranch. Yeah. I've seen this spot when my film got in.
It's on River Road.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like right out of town, or like right.
It's right there.
Yeah.
In the middle of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn Ranch is beautiful.
Just want to check in on this. Is my connectivity okay right now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I'm just gonna let you all know I can't see any comments because my phone is jacked out. It's just not. It's not tapping in for some reason to the
Yeah.
internet here.
I'll
And
keep
it tends to do this. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'll keep you abreast of the situations.
Keep me abreast. Keep me abreast. Keep me some breasts
Yeah.
of the information.
It was a bit ago, but someone did say Laura closing a window has a film noir aesthetic because you sort of have like a
That's
situation.
because
behind
it's
it.
I'm going for a sort of German expressionist kind
Yeah.
of look
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. And not to get us too far off track, but speaking of
because
German,
I saw that. Oh, go ahead.
oh, were you about to say what I was about to say?
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
What were you gonna say?
Well, do you know that there's a Nosferatu remake that's happening with Robert Eggers as the
Oh,
writer-director?
yes, I do know about that, and I'm very excited about it. Yes,
And
I really want to see that.
Yeah,
It's got
and,
like Lily Rose Depp in it and whatnot.
and Robert Eggers. I mean, The Witch. Come on.
He's good. He's a
And
good one.
this looks like. Have you? You should watch the trailer after this. It's like.
I have seen the trailer.
Oh, you've seen the trailer? Does it not look amazing?
It
Amazing.
looks amazing. Yeah.
Anyways, German
Which is interesting because I also recently watched the Francis Ford Coppola's version of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and
Draculio, yeah.
he calls himself Dracula in the movie, and it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Gary Oldman plays Dracula, and I've seen this movie multiple times in the past, and I didn't remember how sort of operatic and kind of like animated the movie is. It's almost farcical, but like good too in a way. I mean, I like it, but it's also there is like a campy element to it. I mean, there's also cheesy elements to it for sure, but like at the same time, it's interesting.
I mean, yeah.
Have you watched that movie?
Wait, what's the year on it? I was looking it up.
It was like from the 90s,
Okay.
Peak
Oh, yeah.
90s era.
92.
Peak
92.
peak Winona Ryder fanfare.
I don't
know.
think I might not have seen this, but damn.
Oh, you would remember if you've seen it.
The hair on this Dracula.
Oh, Dracula, yes. Yeah.
Draculia.
He has a look.
He's
But no,
the-
Keanu Reeves in it. I hate to say it. No offense, Keanu. I love you. You're a great guy, but you are terrible in this movie. I mean, God.
He can be terrible, yeah. He can be terrible.
He's just so bad in it.
We love him, but he can be terrible.
I loved you in Bill and Ted's. What can I say? That was my favorite thing of you.
I think he was great
And
in The
Speed.
Matrix. Oh, he's
No, he's
great
good
in
in
Speed.
Speed.
He's great in Speed.
There's a bomb on your boss. But I just can't. I can't reckon with you trying to do a period piece look / character. It just doesn't read for you. You're better than that. Winona, however, I think did a great job, and Gary Oldman is what he is. He's a character actor, so I feel like he just kind of works. He makes it work. But it's also, yeah. I mean, no, it's a fun movie. You should watch it. Ethan watched it.
I will.
I watched it for Ethan.
Oh,
Believe it or not.
Well,
It's kind of inappropriate for a child, but
I mean, I feel like I watched some Dracula. Maybe I did actually see this as a
at
kid.
2 years old,
Well, not 2 years old, but
to 3,
maybe not 3, but
he's not even 3 yet.
and I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess
He
that's
will
true.
be 3 soon, though.
But
But
see,
he
I
was
feel like would I even really remember? I struggle to really pin down like when first memories really start coming in.
No, I hear that, but it's like there are kids who would just not. It wouldn't work for them to watch it because it would just be too scary, and they'd be like crying and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of kids would they don't want to watch, I don't know, Ghostbusters or something because that's too scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Ethan thrives on it. He thrives on the hauntings. He
You
likes
told me
scary
that, and
cinema.
you said he also kind of likes people when people are crying on screen.
He likes
right?
emotional
Right.
engagement. He's interested in human emotion, I think. He's really interested in people and like what they do, and
Right.
he wants to know about stuff. And he's really interested in just like carnal, visceral, sort of practical effect type looking stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Anything
I mean,
that's-
look, we got similar taste then, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, no. And as do I with him.
I'm
And
just
I
gonna
appreciate
answer
that about him.
Gemma ever so quickly
ahead.
because she had a quick question.
Oh, hi Gemma.
Yeah,
Thanks for tuning
what's
in.
up, Gemma?
Wow, this is the first for you, isn't it?
What?
Because oh my God, I'm so sorry. Gemma lives in Canada, and so it's hard for them to tune in
Yeah, yeah.
to our show. at
They
this time.
sometimes tune in for when I do my my little side project here where I
Oh.
stream games. But anyways, to answer your question, Gemma, We are still in the non-spoiler part of the show, so don't you worry. You haven't seen I Saw the TV Glow yet, but we will be talking about that a little later. So we're just
Wait, did
chit-chatting.
anyone here see the TV Glow? Just curious. Did
I
anyone
think
here
some
see
people
it?
did. There's already
Oh,
some
okay.
questions coming in, but I'm just holding
Okay.
them because we're not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the movie is, it's not nothing. People were talking about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off. So wait, let's go back to Guerneville for a second. So you were.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So you camped on the lake, or sorry, on the river.
Uh-huh.
What's your camp setup? Describe this.
Oh, yeah. No, we did a very, like, down-tuned, down-tempo sort of camp setup compared to our usual look. I mean, it's weird. I think I need to get an in-between what I have and what we do. So I have a, 8-person tent, which I felt was going to be a nice, comfortable sort of space to have as our normal camp setup.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have, a very short sort of 2-person tent. And that's not comfortable.
Yeah.
But the 8-person one, as roomy as it is a bit big.
When you say
and I feel
2-person though, do you mean? I mean, because they always say a 3 to 4 person for what is really a 2-person. Usually,
This
right?
is smaller than the 3 to 4 person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's short. I don't like tents where you can't stand up. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's just one wants to be able to stand up in a thing, don't you think? Yes, they do.
I do hear you, but I suffer through the squat.
I don't like a squat. You know what I kind of want to get though is one. Have you ever seen those ones where you just throw it like a frisbee and then it pops open it's a full on erect tent?
I guess I have seen. I feel like videos of that.
I've seen a
But-
teaser ad for that, I think, or something like that.
I mean,
I want that.
how sturdy is that thing though?
How not sturdy is it? It seems legit.
Is
I
it?
mean,
I
why
mean,
not? I
well-
mean, it's just that material or whatever.
I guess so, but on a windy night,
You just stake it down, stake it and shake it.
I guess you could stick it and shake it, but it's like,
I would think.
wouldn't
I
you want
don't- I
some
don't know.
rods up in there? Like, don't you want some
Well, yeah, you get a
some-
rod up in there
Well, but how could you get a rod if it's already just like thump?
because it's a certain kind of high tech material that sort of just collapses and erects itself.
Wow.
At the call of the wild, if you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, no
I
bones,
think
huh? No bones.
No, it has bones.
Right.
They're collapsible bones. You know what I mean?
Collapsible bones, though. It's like at that point, that's not a bone.
It is a bone.
Because that's just like a dick. Like, there's no bones in a boner.
A dick
But
is
it's
a
like,
bone.
it can
Definitely gets hard.
Well, it certainly can, but in most occasions, it's just sort of a flaccid thing that
Don't you think that a boner would withstand the wind?
I think, really what should occur is you should get a few boners to sort of create a tent with the bones.
You know what I wonder?
The boners could be the bones of a larger, tent.
Boner tent. You know what I
Yeah.
wonder? I wonder if they used the boner as inspo for this tent. Were they thinking how do we make a tent that just erects itself upon the thrust of a throw? What does that? Well, a boner does that. Okay, let's study the boner. How does it work? How can we emulate, mimic, replicate this technological advancement in the world?
Right. So
they probably created 3D models of boners and looked at the insides and graphs and sort of stretchy type innards and
Right.
things like that. I'm imagining a sort of elastic kind of inside, sort of 3D kind of X-ray.
See, I also feel like in this though, I would hope would have compared this to something a bit sturdier, such as an arm,
But an arm has an actual bone in it.
But we could see I feel like the scientists are in the room. They're trying to figure out this tent situation.
No, I hear you. Yeah, an arm can do this. It can kind of get
there's some
round.
strength there. There's you can't just hit it and I mean it can technically break, but it's much harder.
No, I hear that, but you know what, Dominic? The thing about this tent is it doesn't just collapse into a completely flaccid dick. You know what I mean? It
Right.
still has some bones when it's in the disc form.
Right.
It just kind of breaks down, so to speak.
Yeah. You can
But
break down a boner
anyway.
though too. I mean, I think you can break
With
a
enough,
boner
with
enough
force.
with enough force. I
You
think
can
you
break a boner spirit, indeed.
well, not only break its spirit. Well, breaking its spirit, I feel like is a different conversation. That's more like you you say an off remark, and all of a sudden that boner can disappear lickety split. But I'm talking more like you can physically break a penis. Do you know this to be true?
How do you do that? With a chop? Like with a karate chop? Or
Well, look, I don't know. I've never broken my penis, but I do hear tell. I do hear tell that this could be. Well,
tail?
no, I personally hear tell. Let's see. Breaking a penis. Let's get the science behind it. A penile fracture, also known as breaking a penis, is a type of injury that can occur when an erect penis is bent or hit forcefully. This
Oh
is
my God.
horrible to hear. Damaging tissue and rupturing the tunica albumea. Wait.
Imagine if somebody hits you in the boner and you're like, oh, don't. You could really hurt his tunica albunita. That's going to hurt. Don't. My tunica. Ow.
It's tunica
My tunica albuginea.
It is the tunica
Ow,
albuginea.
My tunica albuginea really hurts right now. Don't fuck with me.
Oh, wow. That's fucked up.
Oh my God. Imagine you're going to the doctor. I think he hurt his tunica albuginea. He's going to need an x-ray. Fill these forms out and we'll get you to the doctor really soon. Doctor comes in. He's like, so I hear you're having problems with your tunica? Yes, my tunica albuginea. Okay, let's take a look. We're going to just lift this little hood up over here.
Peel down the hood, you mean? Like,
don't-
sort of peel down the hood.
Now, don't be afraid. I'm just going to pull back this flap. Oh, yes, that is definitely the tunica albuginea. We're going to need to get some Novocaine. Nurse, get me a shot here.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to shoot his tunica albuginea. Can you hold the tunica for me, please? Thank you so much. I'm going to just put a glove on.
See, I feel
The
like
glove on after he's been touching the whole everything.
I feel like this is what they should have had in the scientist's office when they were, coming up with this tent. Is they should have had one fully erect penis, just standing mighty and tall,
And a broken one.
just the like a sort of just broken tunica albuginea version. There's a G. I should clarify. There's a G in there.
Albuginea.
Albuginea.
It reminds me of like chalupa or something. I don't know why. but, like-
Right. Oh yeah. Yum. I mean, yeah.
Wait, what's like albug? What is a word that sounds like that?
Bulgani.
Like
Bolognese.
Bolognese. Oh yeah, bolognese.
Yeah. Bolognese.
Tunica bolognese.
Ow,
That's
my
a
tunica
special tonight.
bolognese.
We have a delicious pasta. It's a tunica bolognese, and it's going to feature some fresh penis skin flap from I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the meat of the meat sauce could be tunica meat, penile meat.
It could be.
I mean, look.
It's not unheard of.
Well, yeah,
Or
I mean, because don't
It is
they?
unheard of, actually.
I guess it's somewhat unheard of, but you can definitely eat like ball of
Tiger ball.
tiger
Oh,
ball, cow
No,
ball.
well, they have tiger penis soup. But I mean, like, as far as human penis goes, and you know what I've heard about? And I think I heard about this on the Paris Hilton show.
Uh-huh.
Peanut, like foreskin cream, believe it or not.
Well, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? Well, yeah.
Well, do you just mean like, oh, you mean to eat?
No, to like use it on your face as a sort of moisturizing effect, a youthful sort of agent, a youth-inducing agent.
So you're saying
On the show that starred Paris Hilton, whatever it was called, like whatever, The Simple Life or some shit like that.
Uh-huh.
I think it was that show. It shows them going to, I think, Nicole Richie's, like, Hampton's vacation home, or I don't know what. I don't know if it's her house or whoever's house.
Mm-hmm.
But they show them just, like, hanging out and going into the bathroom, and she's like, here, do you want some foreskin cream? Yeah, my dad uses it. Like, very nonchalant, but I thought, wait, is that real? It must be real.
So what does
Yeah,
I don't
imagine
understand.
that.
But is it
It's
cream?
a paste. It's like a paste made of ground foreskin that you put on your face as a sort of, like, feeling like a anti-wrinkle effect.
Are we sure this isn't just cream that's meant for your foreskin,
I'm
but people
sure
are
because
using
she
it on
put-
their.
No, she put it on her face. She's like, "Oh, I use this sometimes. My dad has it."
Wow.
And I remember they like made light of it, but I thought that's that's some shit right there, isn't it?
Oh my
And
god.
I bet you it's real. I bet you it exists, and I could kind of see it working in a way. Think about it. It's like ground skin of baby that's like of the softest part of their body. Of course, that's gonna make your skin look younger. Maybe. Like I can imagine it just like filling in the lines. You know what I mean? You're filling in your skin with skin,
I'm trying to
It
do
makes
some.
sense.
I'm trying to do some side research.
but it's also dark as hell.
Right. I'm
How
trying,
do they get the foreskin?
Well,
Just, like
but
from people who are throwing it away or whatever.
I just don't know. I don't know if this is made from foreskins or if it's a cream meant for
No,
foreskin.
it's made from foreskins, and it's you got to look that up. It's
Maxime,
cream made.
Maxime is saying in the chat. He says, or they say, Laura tells the truth. Oh, Laura tells the truth. Oh, okay. So I guess he's actually on your side. Laura tells the truth.
Oh.
I did a research. There's a company selling the cream as a main
Wow.
product.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, look, I just could see it being real. It makes sense, and I could imagine that people with a lot of money probably are able to obtain foreskin somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it. There's a lot of babies that get circumcised every year, all the time, every day, probably.
Well, sure, yeah.
And
They gotta do something with them.
what happens with the foreskin?
Yeah.
It's like, does the parent get to choose what happens with it? Does anybody ask them what they want to do with it?
I simply don't know. I mean,
I don't
would
know
assume
either.
they just toss that shit in the garbage.
Well, that's the thing is maybe they have a little safety pouch in which they keep that precious, precious skin.
Weird Artifact says, you throwing away that perfectly good foreskin?
Oh, excuse me, you gonna eat that foreskin? Can I?
Could I could actually do something with that.
You gonna eat that?
Are you gonna finish that?
No, but it's probably true. This is all true. Is the thing.
I mean, yeah. Tolkien's study says it's super soft. I don't know if he's talking about foreskin or not.
Yeah, no.
But
Well,
both. But both.
Yeah,
Why not
the
both?
same thing. It's all the same thing.
I guess it is.
Think about it. Imagine ground up baby skin as a cream.
Wait, I don't know if
It
Tolkien,
makes
if you're,
sense.
I don't know Tolkien, if this is the truth. A foreskin inch can stretch to a football field for a skin graft for burn victims.
That is absolutely not true. No.
You never
There's
know.
No chance.
You never know.
You can't
I mean, it's-
stretch a foreskin the size of a
Well, of
football
course
field.
not. But what I'm thinking is maybe it's more like the foreskin probably has 7 layers of skin, as it were, and so maybe it's sort of like that 1
7
inch.
layers of skin.
The,
This sounds like some kind of
isn't there
Limp
like a
Bizkit
7
song.
Is there not 7
Segue.
layers of skin? I swear to God.
7 layers of skin. 7.
Yeah, there is. There's. Oh wait, no, just kidding. I don't know. I can't do the
Wait,
research.
on a penis? You mean?
Just on any skin. I think there's 7 sort of layers in a way.
7 layers to the skin.
Yeah, I think there's
Think so.
7, aspects to it or something.
7. No, I don't know.
7. Indeed, yeah.
Wait, have we ever talked about 7?
We have.
Have I told you about?
Oh, you definitely told. I think we talked about that,
Right.
but
Okay.
I mean, you could bring it up.
I don't need to go there.
Okay.
It's just too much. It's like I don't know how to start with it, but
Mhm.
but yeah, no. So I went camping at Guerneville in a place that I had never gone camping before yesterday.
Mhm.
I'm not supposed to talk about it because it's kind of a secret spot supposedly. So
In
forget it.
Guerneville?
Yeah,
Oh, so it's not on the river,
it is on the river.
but it's not in the main town.
It is.
So that it's not secret because I've been there.
It is. It is. Supposedly, it's. I don't know. Never mind.
Wait, is it
But-
the official campsite that's right in the middle of town?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So this is different.
There's a lot of stuff on the river that's like a line along the river.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
But no, one of my favorite places to go is Schoolyard Campground. Have you been there?
Mm-mm. I've only stayed
It's not
in
on the
rooms.
river. It's right. It's across the street from what?
I've only stayed in rooms when I go to Guerneville. I've never.
Oh,
camped in
really?
Guerneville.
Oh my God, it's so fun to camp there. It's a great camp place.
Yeah.
You got no. I am determined to go camping more this summer.
Well,
lot more.
yeah. Josh and I are always trying to go to Guerneville, so we should coordinate something.
Yeah, no, I want to. I would have loved to go next week, but we're going. I've got. Oh, I'm going to. We have a show, people. By the way, in Nevada City on July 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's next Friday, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then actually could maybe go camping on July 6th.
Well, I mean, it is our anniversary trip, but you could certainly
forget
like
it.
pop in. You know, we could.
Okay.
You know.
Are you going to camp or are you staying in the Don's Ranch or whatever?
We're staying in a. We're staying.
Airbnb?
No, we're staying in a hotel that's like clothing optional hotel.
Clothing optional hotel.
That is. What can I say?
Reception.
It's exactly.
Reception. Boing.
We've been there.
You gonna eat that foreskin?
They have like a
Would you like
clothing
a
optional
complimentary
pool.
hand wash and foreskin cream?
Yeah.
They have clothing optional pool.
Yeah, which we've gone to before. Like we've been to their pool before, which is, it's just a bunch of gay men, dicks out and all, lounging about the pool. And then what's really funny is every once in a while, someone will just sort of enter the pool and just sort of like swim about, dick out, ass out, hole out, and just sort of like, flaunt it. And then everyone's just sort of like observing. You just get to be.
It's
an
like there's
observer.
one swan that just sort of swims around while
Yeah.
all the other little ducks are like just having their limp dicks out or something. Or,
Exactly, yeah.
That
It's
is-
gorgeous.
Oh my god, that's
It's
so
just-
fun.
it's a bit of a mating
where-
ritual for-
What is this place?
It's called no, it's not called R3. R3 is the other one. What is it called? Oh, I think it's called The Woods. They're like right next to each other though. There's like two very gay hotels, but one is like Party Central where we're not staying because that's too much. This one.
What do you mean it's too much?
Well, it's like
Too
Party
expensive or too much? Like it's too much.
much.
Dick?
Like
too
it's
many swans
oh,
swimming in that lake.
Oh, not too many dicks. That's not the problem. But it's more like that hotel is more party all night. You're gonna be hearing like thumping music all night long.
wow.
That's not gonna work for me or Josh.
Okay.
The one we're staying at, while it is clothing optional, it's not really like a party scene. It's like a very chill, quiet hotel.
Huh.
But yeah, anyways.
I don't see these places when I go there. I need to check it out though.
That's why we got to go together, and then I'll give you the gay tour.
That'll be.
I mean, it's very gay up there.
I know it's a gay
yeah.
place. I know
Okay.
it's like a famously gay town.
Yeah.
They have a lot of like gay activities there and stuff.
Yeah, and also all of like the store owners are gay. Like it's at this point a lot of kind of like the older generation of gays from San Francisco
bears and stuff.
bears and the likes. Yeah,
I heard it's really a bear town or something.
well, they do have a bear weekend up there.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's not like this weekend is bear weekend, but they do have a specific weekend where it's like basically a bear party everywhere. If you like your gay men hairy, that's the place to be.
And you don't like that, right?
Oh, I like hairy. I like them both. I like
okay.
them. What I like is an all natural. So I like if someone isn't naturally hairy, but they just sort of leave it as is. And I like if someone's hairy and they leave it as is. It's more the leave it as is, I think, is what I'm into. I don't like it when people are like shaping and like like waxing and shit. I don't like that.
Trying too hard.
I don't like the waxing thing. That is like a
Right.
turn off for me.
No, I think
actually.
you don't like vanity.
When it becomes too clear to me that someone is like really trying to look hot, it makes me less
Right.
attracted to them.
Right. I get that.
Yeah. Anywho,
Wow. Well,
we've
well,
got.
I was just so in other words,
Right,
I
yeah.
got back from Guerneville today.
Uh-huh.
So that was interesting.
So you're there for a few
It
days.
was really nice. Yeah, one really cool thing that happened was that I was just there for one night. The wedding I played at was yesterday, and then
Oh, okay.
we decided to just go right over to the campsite after this wedding that we played at, and then just hang out. And then we ended up camping there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't go all out with like my 8-person tent. We just brought the little one, and it was very uncomfortable for me. I think I want to buy a like 4-person stand-up tent, like one that's big,
Yeah.
tall, but also, could comfortably fit like 4 people. But yeah, I had that once when I went camping with my friend Jenny, and like we forgot to bring a tent to our campsite, so we had to we slept in her car the first night, and then we went and this is the thing at REI. You can just like buy something, and they will. You can return anything in any condition. It's like
so
a
true.
policy.
It's
so we just
true.
went to REI and bought a really nice tent, and used it, and then returned it. But we got like a nice 4-person tent, and I was like, you know what, this is a good size for me. I like it. It's cozy. It's not too big.
Yeah.
Because if it's too big, then you're taking up too much space. You know what I mean? Kind of. Although
Yeah.
it is very comfortable to have a lot of space. I do like. I think I really deep down I'm a glamper. You know what I mean? I like to be comfortable. I like luxury. I like nice things.
Yeah. Well, I think for you though,
What
it
can I
makes
say?
sense to invest in a tent. Like, I mean, I feel like. 'Cause
Why for me?
Well, just because you go camping. You go camping.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So do you.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying like the buying and returning thing through REI is like
Oh, well, that was just because at the time, I thought I have a perfectly good tent at home. I simply forgot it. I forgot the bones, as a matter of fact, now that we're talking about bones and boners
Bones
and
and all.
foreskins and things. Bones and all. Yeah, no, I brought the tent, did not bring the bones. So that wasn't about to work. But those flop them in the air and erect them things, those just have bones built in.
Well, again, but this goes back to our conversation. Like, are they really bones?
They are real.
I think they're
are
as
real.
real
I
as a boner's bones, which is to say that they're not real.
Boner's bones. That could be a movie.
the boner's bones.
No, I don't think I think just Boner's bones.
Really? Okay.
What does it mean? What's it about? Is it about a dog named Boner, or is it about a boner itself?
Well, yeah. I
And
mean,
the bones that it collect. Is it like a killer boner that made somebody die and then it collects their bones?
right. I mean, I guess it depends on where you're finding this film. Is it on Pornhub.com or is it at your local Blockbuster?
I think it's like a serious pornographic piece of cinema by like your average Lars von Trier. Who am I thinking of? Not Lars von Trier, but
He
the
could
one
do
who
it.
did Nymphomaniac.
Well, that is Lars von Trier.
That's who I'm talking about. I think it's like a Lars von Trier piece. Boner's bones. You know what I mean?
Boner's bones. Yeah. I mean, he does.
Let's make it.
He does
Make it
enjoy
right,
a fair amount of nudity, a fair amount of discussion of boners.
Yes, he is a definite nudity optional type. Clothing optional kind of dude.
He's a clothing
Don't you
optional,
think?
yeah. Oh, for sure. In
Do you
fact,
think he goes to clothing optional hotels?
um,
Yes, he does.
I'm sure in his day, I think now, he's getting older.
He's
I don't
calming
know.
down. He only goes to Don Ranch now.
Yeah, now he kicks back at Don Ranch. Maybe he walks over to the woods to check on the boys, see how they're doing. But first of all, I don't think he's gay. But if he were gay,
Do you have to be gay to do a clothing optional hotel?
not at all. But I mean, I will say the
It's mostly
the
gay.
ones in Guerneville are very gay. But no, I mean, like the Springs I went to was all gender.
Yeah.
Very very mixed. It was not. I wouldn't even say it
martial
was. I would not say it was gay much at all.
Well, I would like to go to the Springs myself because I've been hearing about,
should.
Emily went there, I think, recently and was like, oh, yeah, we're doing that. Everybody
Yeah.
I know gets to go to the spa except for me.
You must go to the spa.
I want to go to the spa. I'm not allowed to, though.
You could
Well, I mean,
even
I'm
go
allowed,
locally.
but,
You could go locally.
Like, Anton doesn't like the spa. He's just not. He's down if it's, like, for free. Like,
But
if
you
it
could
comes
go.
with, for some reason, like, I don't know, if we have a gig that's at a hotel and then they give us, like, free, whatever, use of the spa. Like,
You
yes,
should-
he'll go.
You
But he
should
doesn't
go.
want to indulge in things like that, and I do want to.
That's why I think you should go on your own to Kabuki Spa and Springs. And they have like a women's day, so it's not like it's even, it's not even like a mixed gender situation. If that's a deal breaker for you, like
No, I don't care.
well, yeah, they have days that you could go on your own, and it's like very relaxing and beautiful and yeah. Just a
I
thought,
mean,
just a
yeah.
thought.
No, it
It's
seems
right here
more
in San
fun to go
Francisco.
to Oh. No. Oh, you know what I was hearing about recently, though? This Russian bathhouse. You know about that?
That's also in San Francisco, yeah. But
Yeah, oh, you
they're
know
two
about that?
different vibes, though. The Russian bathhouse is a bit more of like I think like a social hour, Like I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think we could go together or something. Like it's kind of like a lot of people are talking. You're just like in the springs. It's chatty, at least in my experience. Whereas Kabuki, the Kabuki spot is silent. It's like no one's talking. It's much more like meditative and darker.
Unless you're like, "Wah!" What did that woman do?
No, that's not there though. That's at yeah, but no, she went like I think she was like trying to release a sort of, perhaps a demon within. I don't know. No, but that was Harbin Hot Springs. That's yeah, it was like a real it was like a chest. It was like a real like like coming from her center,
Let me try it. Let me see if I can get it.
Okay. Exactly.
Kinda like that.
Exactly was that. Yeah, exactly was that. No, but but that was at Harbin Hot Springs, which is outside of the city. That's like an hour and a half north. But Kabuki is very quiet, meditative, chill, if that's the vibe that you want. And then the Russian bathhouse that I'm now forgetting the name of is like the more chatty Cathy one. So you pick your poison. Like they're both fun, but they're just like different vibes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Something
I mean,
to
I'm
consider.
down for whatever. I think I'm down for whatever.
You should definitely do that. Definitely. Like I fully recommend. It's so nice.
When I have a chance, I'm gonna do it.
You should treat yourself.
I will. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's enough about
Anyhow.
me. So, anything else to report on your front?
I feel like I reported. I feel like we could probably get into the movie here pretty soon.
All right. I think
Yeah.
Right.
We've
It's 7:53. We may as well jump in.
we've done our reports. We've turned in our reports. I think it's time to turn to this new main event here. So we're gonna talk about a little film called I Saw the TV Glow. I Saw the TV Glow. So this is a film that's written and directed by Jane Schoenbrun. And the director is non-binary. They're trans feminine but non-binary, so they use they them pronouns. And they directed another film that I saw from a couple years ago called oh my god, what was it called? We're All Going to the World's Fair. Did you? I don't think you saw that, right?
No.
Okay. Another kind of vibey film that like well, I don't even want to say too much actually, but this new film, I Saw the TV Glow, is their first through A24. So A24 picked them up after their previous film, and they produced this and distributed it. And I would say it's like a coming of age / horror film, but I wouldn't say it's scary in the traditional sense. I just think it's dark. I think it's like a dark coming of age film. And I think there's a lot more to it, but I even wonder how much to say before we get into spoilers. But I guess what I will say that I don't think is too much of a spoiler is it certainly has heavy queer themes in it that are quite omnipresent, I feel. And it definitely deals with like identity. And I guess in the vaguest sense, how the plot kind of starts to just kind of set things up is it's about these two young friends in the 90s who kind of gather to watch a TV show. And they kind of begin to bond over the TV show, and the TV show becomes like this kind of ritual for them, which kind of expands from there. So again, if you haven't seen I Saw the TV Glow, not to worry. We're going to start our discussion here spoiler free. So we won't be discussing anything plot wise. We're just at first going to talk about what we thought about the film and just more generic thoughts about, the film itself. And then I'll make it very clear that we'll be getting into spoilers in the second half of our review discussion here. So, I think with that, I think I've said all I needed to say. Laura,
Yes.
do you want to let us know what you thought in a broad way of I Saw the TV Glow?
Just, what can I say? It wasn't for me. I
Well,
mean,
good
I
for
thought
you.
there were some cool moments in it that were like visually engaging, but other than that, I just was like kind of bored. No offense.
Kind of bored, huh?
No
Okay.
offense to the filmmaker. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. It's just I don't know. I just wasn't that into it.
Mm. Hmm.
But right on.
So,
What did you think?
well, I guess I'm curious. So it's you thought it was kind of boring, but did you like anything about it, or you just didn't like this film at all?
I liked some of the visual, like some of the art direction, and the way that, yeah, like some of the sort of quote unquote scary things were executed.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, that wasn't enough for me to love the movie or like it that much.
You weren't into
Like
like the
it
kind
just
of
felt like style. Like I felt like it was almost like a music video. You know what I mean? Like it would be a great music video, but
Uh-huh.
as a narrative film, I just was like not really feeling it.
Really interesting. I never know what to expect with you, Laura. Sometimes I feel like this was one that was firmly in the I truly have no idea what she's going to think of this, because I could really see you liking the film from the aspect of like it's kind of about nostalgia. It's about like misremembering things from your like childhood. I feel like it has this like heavy sense of like childhood in it, and I feel like you can kind of get into that, like a coming of age kind of childhood drama. I feel like that can often be your thing. So,
Well, it's not really childhood. It's like high school.
well,
Mostly.
it starts in middle school.
I know. Well, kind of. One of the characters is in middle school. Not the other one though.
Right. I guess it's mostly high school.
And the
But,
middle school part is like very scarce. Like it's just for barely anyone in the movie. And also, I just didn't. It just wasn't my experience. You know what I mean? Like it didn't remind me. I mean, there were aspects of it that kind of reminded me of high school. I mean, I enjoyed the Fruitopia vending machine that they featured largely in that one shot.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like it's funny because there's always like a nostalgia for the I mean this is a 90s nostalgia, which is like it's after the time that I had nostalgia for my, you know what I mean, like my although it was interesting because I lived, I was in my high school years in the 90s, so that's interesting. But I feel like the nostalgia that I would gravitate towards would be more like for 80s kind of stuff,
Well, I think
Which
the filmmaker
is-
is also roughly, well, I think like kind of like in between our ages. Like, I think they're kind of,
I got I mean I sensed
yeah.
that just because of when it takes place, but
Right.
and but I don't know, I don't know, it just once again it just felt like style over substance for me,
Damn.
but
Well,
that's just it's okay.
bummer.
I thought it would be a great music video. Like there's some really great cinematography in it, I'll say that.
Well, I can't wait to dig into meaning and kind of like how I read this film, because I've been thinking a lot about this. This has been a film I watched it again just today, but I saw it first about maybe like a little over a month ago, and for me, I mean, I guess I'll just say my overall thoughts is like I really liked this film when I first saw it. Like in the moment I was really liking it, and then I was still like grappling with it for a while. There was like this period of time where I was like, I kind of was thinking about it in these certain ways and thinking about kind of what it's saying about queer identity in kind of like one way, but I hadn't like fully figured out my own even like interpretation of exactly where it was kind of coming from. But I will say I just could not stop thinking about this film. Like it totally took over my thoughts for like the past month. And now rewatching it again, it was such a pleasure to like rewatch. I actually think I liked it more on my second watch, like to kind of now come at it with how I kind of feel about it, and then see more things where I was like, oh shit. Scenes where I wasn't thinking about this one particular thing. It's like now so obvious to me, like what I feel like that might mean for the story and identity and all this. And again, it's gonna be hard to really say too much on that before we get into spoilers, so I'll just kind of leave it there. But I will say I've had a absolute pleasure like thinking about this movie from a narrative perspective. But from a less spoilery end of things, I think I think visually I think it's incredible. I think there's like some moments in here that are so striking, and I think even Lynch-esque. Like there's specific sequences that do something that just makes you feel like deeply in one kind of way. Like it's so specific, but I feel like it's working on feeling at time, which kind of always reminds me of Lynch because I think he's the master of that. And I think this does it quite effectively with kind of like some surreal imagery that then kind of just like implants itself in you, and for me at least really stuck with me. Again, I don't really want to get into what that was until later, but yeah, like the imagery I feel like really stuck with me. And then from a vague plot sense, like kind of maybe towards the beginning, I really felt like the way that they captured being a kid and kind of like the main friendship, I'll say, it felt very genuine to me. Like it felt like the way that they're interacting felt very true, and it felt like, you know, these two awkward teens who you know, are kind of outsiders, kind of connecting with each other over this love of this TV show that they get together to watch. But ultimately, I think it's like they're using that as their way to connect with one another, because they seemingly don't really connect with others much at all. Like they're both kind of like loner types, and outcasts and outsiders. And I just loved. I just felt like their connection felt very genuine to me. Like it felt like it really reminded me of high school, to be honest. Like it felt like, you know, I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, and I was kind of like a weird kid, and, you know, connecting with a couple other weirdos, and like our friendship felt very much like that, or like connecting over films or music or whatever it was, like using art to kind of like see someone else, you know, like you're kind of like, oh, okay, you're my type of person because we both like this one weirdo little thing, you know. I really liked that. Like I thought that was a really cute kind of basis to start a coming of age story, is like, let's like sneak out and get together and watch this, you know, this like spooky kids TV show at 10:30 p.m. like past our bedtime or whatever. It all just felt very like rooted in reality, which I think was a beautiful basis for then it going outside of reality as time kind of goes on. But yeah, I think go on.
Oh, nothing. No, well, it's just like, I mean, it's not like that hasn't been done before.
Of course not. No.
No offense. I mean, it's just like, I don't know if I would say that was the best version of that. You know what I mean? For me. But also, what was I going to say? I had a thought and now I forgot what it was. I was just going to say, it did, in a way, kind of remind me of this movie that came out in the 90s called Nowhere. Have you ever heard of that movie?
Mm-mm.
Or it's by the same director, I think, that did a movie called Doom Generation. And I don't know, there were elements of this movie that kind of harkened to that a little bit. But I don't know. Yeah, which is interesting. Which I did enjoy those movies. I mean, I remember liking Nowhere, but also thinking, like, it was kind of bad, too. But I think that it had just, like, a certain energy to it that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know.
Did you ever like watch? I don't know. Like I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? Did you ever watch?
I loved that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did the show kind of not remind you a bit of that, or just kind of that kind of era of television, and or just if it wasn't that show, but like a show that you just loved to watch, and it was like, I don't know, so cool to talk about with your friends and that kind of stuff.
Well, I certainly had shows that I loved to watch and would like to talk about with friends, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. It didn't, I don't know, there's something about this, it just wasn't for me. I don't know, it was like just not the right vibe for me. You know what I mean? Like it was just a different vibe than, I don't know. I mean, you could do that story in 100 different ways, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like I can't relate to the story of that, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, it just wasn't my vibe full on, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, but I did like I said, I enjoyed some of the quote unquote scary moment or like the monsters or whatever that were in the show.
I mean, yeah, they were sick, and plus like practically done too.
Yeah, those look cool.
Like
That was
crazy
good.
puppetry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like this is a tough one to talk about without spoilers, because I feel like a lot of what I want
I
to
was
say
trying to. I didn't want to say spoilers either.
has to do with just like analyzing, I think, the plot, you know. So I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I want to say before we get into that. I like the soundtrack. I think there's some songs that I know that they had multiple artists like make songs for the film, which I thought was kind of cool.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, that one I was less into, I will say. But the other songs, like the Caroline Polachek song that comes in when he's like, there's a long tracking shot through the high school and it plays over that. I thought that was great. I thought there's a couple like really kind of slow, moody ones that come in, like one early on and one pretty late. Loved those. I just feel like I love when a film has like original music made for it that I don't know. I'm kind of always have like a soft spot for that, where it's like it makes me feel like the director really cares about music enough to like get a cool artist to like, hey, could you make an original song for this film? And I think like then creates a kind of world in and of itself. But yeah. Anyhow, click quote said Clico said not a very plotty movie. I do think that's true. I think that's true and not true, actually. I think
Right.
there's maybe not a lot of standard plot, I guess, but I do think there's a lot of meaning that I think one can like dig into, especially I think in the second half. Even though I think it's less plot driven in the second half, I think there's a huge amount to kind of dig into. So I'm staying quite vague here. But yeah, I think that's a yes. It's a yes and no for me on is it a plotty movie, you know. Anywho, is there more to say without getting into it? Anything you would want to add before we get into spoilers here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. I'm really excited to really like talk about this film from a spoilers perspective. So we are going to talk about plot. So if you've not seen the film and you don't want anything spoiled, now would be the time to tune out. Otherwise, keep on listening, keep on trucking. And by the way, if you have seen the film and you're going to be sticking around for this part, feel free to let us know, your thoughts, and I'll be working them in as I see them here. But yeah, with spoilers out there, do you want to say anything out the gate, or should I just start my avalanche of thoughts here?
Well, one thing I noticed that was a very subtle thing, but I was wondering about was that part. So, I guess Fred Durst plays the stepdad, right?
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize.
Which is
that
so
till
funny. I didn't realize it until after either. Yeah.
But there's a scene where he sees the dad. This is I guess after the mom dies.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad is watching TV in the living room, and it's just a shot of him watching TV, and very subtly placed and not called attention to at all. There's a jar of Vaseline on the coffee table. What's that about? What was that about?
I didn't catch that.
I was just wondering, what is that supposed to mean or whatever? Somebody put that there on purpose. You know what I mean?
Well,
Had an
surely.
intention.
I mean,
So I
think
wonder if the dad was supposed to be some kind of weird, masturbatory type of guy or something like
yeah.
that.
I mean, I would
I
think
don't know.
masturbation if I saw the Vaseline. I didn't even see the
Vaseline implies something like that, I would think. You know what I mean, in that context.
I think it definitely does. Yeah, I didn't see that, but yeah, I feel like that's what it would. That's what it would imply.
I stopped it and rewound it. I was like, what the fuck? Why did they put that there? Because it's not like he's masturbating or anything. And then whatever is happening on the TV is it has a laugh track on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't seem appropriate, but for some reason that was there.
Yeah.
And I wondered what that was about. So
I don't know.
I wonder if that ties into the quote unquote plot in any way,
Yeah.
or
Um.
the guy's, I guess, whole issue in life, and the life of the movie or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well. So okay. So to get into it here, maybe I'll just ever so briefly say generally where the plot goes after what I kind of have cut off. So like, these two people, this young boy and this young girl, they're connecting over this show called The Pink Opaque. They get together, they watch the show every week, and then eventually the girl makes it known that she wants to get out of town. She's trying to leave, and she wants him to come with her, but he kind of, in a last ditch effort, chooses to stay. He like kind of he basically like he sneaks away from her so that he doesn't have to leave with her because he's too scared to leave town with her. She leaves for a long period of time. I believe it skips forward 8 years at that point, and then they reconnect, and she's kind of like changed in a certain way, and she's kind of like bringing this information back to him of like, something crazy has occurred. Like, what was it like for you when we were watching that show? And I would say around this time, the film starts to get a little more surreal, and a little more abstract than the kind of, I think, pretty straightforward plot of the first half. And you begin to wonder, like, what exactly is happening. And I think it's really worth noting that, well, again, the director is trans feminine and non-binary, and I think this film is so deeply a like trans allegory for the lead character, the young boy, who I think is like, at the very least, if it's not trans, it's like questioning your gender, and I think he's kind of in this spot where he doesn't feel like himself. And I think she also didn't really feel like herself in that town. And I think like as the plot goes on, and especially after she kind of has this like long talk with him, where she kind of is talking about this thing that maybe may or may not have actually happened, where she says that she got buried, and then she crawled out. And when she crawled out, she was the character from the show. And so she kind of feels like she's been rebirthed into the show itself / one of the characters in the show. And to me, that totally reads as like, I thought I was one person, but I killed off that person and I'm now this new person. Like, the real me is now how I'm living, which is like a very, I think, trans allegorical story, of like understanding that deep within you is something that you are not externally anymore. And I think the lead character does not ever allow themselves to go there. And I think as the film goes on, we see him continue to resist her kind of like call, like for her wanting to pull him out of the town and into the TV show in a sense, / like bury him. So she like takes him to the like this field, and she's like dug a hole and she's gonna like put him in the hole or whatever, like bury him like she got buried. And then I guess we presume then he gets rebirthed in a sense into like his true self, his true form. At the very least, it's like queer, I think, but I think far more accurately it feels like trans. And ultimately he resists, he runs away from it, he chooses to live his life in the town, continuing to watch the show but never like interacting with the show like he used to. Essentially, I think like putting aside this thought that he's always had, like, what if I, like, this show is sort of like this temptress, like this fruit, I guess, of like, oh, this is what my life could be if I came out or whatever. And she chooses to like go for it, whereas he like continues to kind of watch the show, and even as things go on, he like detaches himself, I think, from the show, and he's like, oh, the show wasn't as good as it was when how I remembered it when it was a kid. Like, it was so meaningful when I was a kid, but then I rewatched it and now it's kind of just like lame and cheesy and whatnot. And I think that's him, like, just continuing to detach himself from his own queer identity. And then actually, I think the ending, I did see, Nicole, you mentioned that you weren't super into the ending, but I feel like the ending is maybe my favorite part of the film, just like in how dark it is, because I feel like ultimately the ending is we jump forward again 10 more years, and he's continuing to work at the same spot that he's worked in the same town. He's kind of just like a wreck, a mess, and he has like this breakdown where he just like screams at his job, and then he like goes to the bathroom. We see him begin to cut himself open. He kind of opens himself up and sees like TV static. We hear TV static, which I think again is very much deeply like that my true self is still in there. Like the TV show is still in there. These characters that like could live on are still deep within me, but like he kind of just sews himself back up and decides, I think, to live his life continuing to be closeted, continuing to not accept himself, and then like that's just like this fucking dark ending that I felt like
But
was go ahead. Sorry, I've been talking forever.
Isn't there something like trite about the TV show being like representational of his true self? You know, like it's a TV show. It's a superficial, like false, representation of life.
But I think
And
it's like
yet,
a window.
It's, I guess, to the characters, it represents a bond and a way to reflect. It's like a canvas for reflecting, like maybe in some way, but why does it have to be about a TV show? Like just the idea of a TV at all. A TV is like this box that you stare at to zone out and to like fantasize about something that's not real. You know what I mean? It's like it is a symbol of not reality. You know what I mean? And so for that to be the thing that represents the true self is, in my opinion, it falls short. You know what I mean? It's like that's not the true self.
But could it not be
And
seen also?
that's like so attached. Like they're so attached to this idea of whatever it is.
But TV is also escapism, I think, and I think media in general can be used as a way to, I think, sometimes understand things that you don't understand about yourself because you're kind of like, you see it reflected in a character or something. Like you'll see a relationship or like a quality in someone in a TV show or a movie or a book or whatever it is, media, and you begin to think like, oh, actually that feels very true to me. Like the way this character is or something in this TV show feels
It's
quite
also
true.
being
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, but it's also like TV as opposed to books, I think, is more so controlled by an external force as opposed to, it's like you're actually being given something that is visually represented, that is represented through sound, that is, there's texture, there's not a lot left for interpretation. I mean, there's a little bit open for interpretation, but a lot less than like through a book or for example, you know what I mean? Or even like through music, which with music, you're listening to something and you are creating the visual in your mind, you know what I mean? But this particular form of expression, the TV, it's not even a movie, you know what I mean? I think that there's an intention as to why they made it be a TV show and why not only is it like through the portal of a television, which in itself is kind of like a symbol of the mundane in a way and kind of smaller realities, but also it's a controlled thing. So I just think and it's also a TV show. So a show that's like a 30-minute long like sitcom basically, which is also not as highly regarded as, let's say, like a feature-length film or something that would have been considered more like of a form of high art. You know what I mean? It's like this TV show for kids.
But would
But
would you say that you've never had like a revelation from something that was quite
I don't
not
know.
not like
I mean,
high art, you know. Like I feel like many things can. We're getting a lot of really interesting comments. Actually, I was seeing Clicquot said, I felt like a certain show.
Quo, I think.
Clicquot, sorry. I felt like certain shows I saw as a kid, I felt more strongly about than anything I had going on in my real life. They said, especially if real life was really shitty. I think like there can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that highlights why they chose to have it be a TV show as opposed to something else.
Well,
Because
totally.
maybe like.
Yeah, no, I think it's
I mean,
escapism. I
yeah.
think it's like a way to see. It's especially when you're a kid, you're like looking for meaning for truly anything because everything, especially like when you're a teen in high school, everything. I think when you're like, especially if you're a queer kid, which I think both these lead characters are, not just queer, but like I think all kids are like this, where it's like you just are wanting to find yourself. You just want to like see yourself in anything. And I think for them, they're seeing like these, they're just like seeing this TV show maybe as like this friendship of. I also feel like it's quite intentional that the friendship in the TV show is two women, and I feel like the lead character, who's a boy, is watching this show and maybe like feeling a certain way about like, oh, this relationship with these two girls, like there's something about that feels quite similar to my relationship with this girl. Like, you know, maybe I feel that kind of like relationship as two girls, like we're just these two girls, but he's like not quite ready to go there with himself and accept himself as a girl, like to see these two women and like how women connect, you know, of course is different than how a boy and a girl might connect, you know, like he sees maybe this bond and then mirrors it in, because also I think we get these quick flashes, right, of like where he starts to dress up
He's
as a
wearing
woman.
the dress, yeah.
Right. Like I think he toyed around with it when they were watching, and we weren't seeing that live. Like when we were seeing them watch it, we were just kind of seeing them watch it. But we later in flashbacks understand that it seems like when they were watching it, as time went on, you know, he was experimenting around with maybe dressing like a girl or like presenting as a girl. And she must have seen that and been like, okay, I see you. You're queer, you know, like something's going on here, you know, because she's into women, she's queer, and I think like there's a kinship there. And she's like, I gotta get the fuck out of this town. This town sucks. Which I think is a pretty, you know, is often felt by many queer people in like a small town that might be like kind of homophobic or whatever. Like we got to get out of here. We got to go to the big city or whatever. It's a classic, you know, kind of story. And so she's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You should come with me. And I think that's why she comes back to like kind of in a one last ditch effort to kind of save him, you know, to kind of like be like, I found my true identity. And I think abstractly it's through the show, you know, like, oh, she thinks of herself as the character in the show. And there's the kind of this like surreal element of like, was the show real to them or was it not? Is it like, did it actually happen as reality or something? I think all that are like layers on top of just the pretty much more standard story of just like, which I actually loved the fact that there were some abstractions here, because I feel like the story would feel very, I mean, I think you said the word trite too. It'd feel a lot more trite to me if this was just like your everyday, I don't know, like kind of film about, a queer person coming to terms with themselves, but in like the much more standard way that we've seen a million times. I actually love the fact that there's like a lot of abstraction to kind of like dig into and to like start to maybe look into the meaning of what is really going on here, you know? And watching it a second time too, I will say there was some other things I like took note of. The trans flag is three colors, like the trans pride flag. You know, in reality is three colors. It's like that lighter blue, pink, and white. And watching the film again, there is so much, so many times those three colors are like very present in something. Like the opening shot, like one of the opening shots when he's a little boy and they're playing with that big parachute. The colors of the parachute are the trans flag. And like when he's walking in the school, he walks through this one hallway where they put colored glass on it, and it's pink and blue, and then whites in the middle. Like, it's like you constantly seeing the trans flag throughout the film, which I feel like, I don't know, I thought it was a cool touch that I didn't quite catch the first time I watched it. When I was still, like, when I first watched it, I didn't really know what it was kind of going for, or what it was ultimately about. Like, I definitely got the queer vibe, and then by the end it felt very trans, but like watching it a second time, it's like, oh shit, this is a sort of abstract trans identity, finding yourself kind of story. And I just I don't know, I feel like the abstractions lent a lot more meaning to me. Like, it's a way that I like to see a story told, rather than a much more like kind of straightforward way. I know I'm talking forever.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's all legit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you got that much out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, it's all right. I just, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, hey.
It just wasn't for me, I guess. I don't know. I guess I just didn't feel connected to the characters, to be honest. I did think they were pretty good actors, though. I mean, I thought that they were, you know, good actors. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't fully engaged, to be honest. But like I said, every time that it would show the monsters, at least from the first version of the show, that's when I liked it. And then, I mean, but at the end, it was like, it's like, don't get me wrong, I like abstract stuff, but I don't know. You know, towards the end, it was getting like to a point where I don't know. I mean, I didn't love that last shot, or that last scene where he like opens himself up or whatever. It wasn't the last one. I guess it was like the second to last kind of scene.
Well, yeah, the last
like,
scene.
Sorry.
Yeah. The last sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love that for some reason. Like, I wanted to like it. I don't know. I thought that it would be cool. I mean, I like the idea of it, but it just I don't know. It just felt a little bit like too on the nose or something like that for me, or something like that. I don't know.
Too on the nose?
Something like that, yeah.
Of what, though?
It's like he's opening up, and, you know, I don't know. He's like, you know, it just seems like very kind of straightforward what the metaphor is or whatever. And he's just, you know, I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm not being very articulate. It didn't get me.
I mean, I feel like that last scene is very much, I mean, I guess I already kind of talked about it, but like after he kind of sees that that's still within him, like, I think his trans identity is still in there, like the pink opaque is still in there. I think the pink opaque is trans identity, and I think he is understanding himself. He still knows deep down that he's trans, but I think he is just suppressing it. And I think that's actually an extremely interesting ending, though, because I will say I've seen a lot of gay films, and like, they usually don't end like this. They don't end with someone staying closeted. I actually think that's a really interesting. It's almost like a what's it called? Like you know, like these kind of dark fairy tales where it's like it warns you of something. What is that called? There's a term for it.
Foreshadowing?
No, it's like when a story's main purpose is to sort of like warn you of what could go wrong if you did this. I forget. It's like a fairy tale
fable?
kind of
Allegory.
I can't remember. Like a something tale, a something tale. I can't. A cautionary tale.
Cautionary tale.
It ends, I think, in a very cautionary tale of like, this is how shitty one's life can be if they don't accept themselves and come out, you know? And I think that's actually really fucking bold to put in a queer story, because we never see that. Like, it's always, oh, and then he accepted himself and everything was beautiful from there on out. And it's like, that is not the case for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people do stay closeted. And I feel like by showing someone remain in that space, I actually think it's so much more effective to potentially like convince someone who is watching this, who might be questioning their own identity, to like, I think to show how fucked it can get is, I think, a much more effective tool for certain people to like understand than the opposite. Like the opposite could be true for you, which is like freedom, which is like acceptance and, you know, happiness and whatnot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that he
all
kind of
true.
is like apologizing. He's like, sorry about earlier, sorry about earlier. Like he's kind of just this defeated, he's just like doesn't want anyone to even perceive him anymore. He's just like wants to kind of float by his life as the, you know, closeted person that he is. And yeah, I thought that was really dark and fucked up, but also a really poignant ending, and one that I did not expect and have not seen before in these sorts of films, like these sorts of like coming out, coming of age, coming out, queer identity kind of films. They always come out, you know.
We got to find out what's up with that Vaseline jar in the Fred Durst scene.
I mean, yeah, he's probably jerking
Let's
it.
look that up. What was that supposed to be about, though?
I don't know. Probably
Well,
that
like,
he's
what do
just
you
a
have
loser.
to say about what do you have to say about the relationship between him and his parents and stuff, and the parent figures, and why did it like he doesn't have a father, a real father?
Well, yeah, he has a father, but he's like kind of a piece of shit.
Well, that's his stepdad.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
don't
yeah.
know.
So
We don't
why
know
did they? Yeah, what was up with that? I wonder why that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but
And what
definitely.
about the mom? And talk about that.
Well, I think
Analyze it. Break it down for me. Spell it out.
one of the few things that I think the stepdad does say is when he asks, "Hey, can I stay up late to watch The Pink Opaque tonight?" The dad goes, "Isn't that a show for girls?" And I
Oh,
think
right,
that
yeah.
is again another
it's
telling
just-
point of like he's
right.
probably
So
like
he just-
homophobic, transphobic. Like this is not someone that you'd want to be coming out as trans to. You know, the
Right.
last person you'd want to come out. Like that's the kind
No,
of shit
that
that
was
you.
all you had to say. That was all you had to say.
Well, yeah,
that
but
scene said it all. I
Yeah.
forgot about that scene. Isn't that a girl's show? Right.
isn't that a show for girls? Which he is
Pink
like. I think he
Opaque.
is a girl. You know, like he is trying to understand himself as a girl through this show, and I think like.
Also, the name Pink Opaque implies like a girl that is not seen in a way. Or it's like it's opaque is like the opposite of transparent. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
Ni-
it's kind of like yeah, anyway.
Nicole is saying that that was his real dad and mom, and that the girl was the one with the stepdad. So I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really?
I'm not sure that
No,
could
I
be
thought
true.
he said that he had a stepdad. I thought he said he had a stepdad.
I honestly, I don't remember.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know who said that. I do remember a stepdad. But yeah. I think that kind of shit also really. I felt like that was another beautiful moment in the film, because when you're a kid, I mean, speaking as a gay man, when you're a kid and like adults say something that is, you know, I think like vaguely homophobic or like, you know, kind of implies that, oh, you better like you better be a man or like whatever, like these sorts of things, they deeply stick with you and they like ring out in your head for years to come and are the things that keep you in the closet, you know, like those are the things that you think about. And so I think when that dad or stepdad, I'm not sure, says, isn't that a show for girls? Like that felt like this really true moment of him just being like, well, there goes ever coming out. Like this is never going to happen now. I just may as well give up. It's like another nail in the coffin. Like I feel like his situation is not allowing him to come out in many ways. Like, and also I think maybe his mom was probably like the more sensitive one to this and maybe would have been more okay with it. But, you know, she dies.
died.
And so I think that's maybe she kind of represented like this, the parental figure that he maybe could have like confided in, but could never confide in. Because she also, I think, senses something and tries to get him to open up about it. Like when they're at the, like the circus or whatever,
Fair.
yeah, when they're at the fair, she's kind of like, you seem really distant. Is it because of my illness? And he's like, no, I'm fine about that. Like, I think she senses that there's something going on with him. And she's like trying to get him to open up. But of course she doesn't, or, you know, he doesn't open up to her. Right. Nicole is
Yeah.
saying, Justice says that, Justice plays the main character. Justice Smith plays the lead character. So Justice says, "You're not my real father," paraphrasing, which meant that the TV show life was more real than their biological parents. Don't remember stepdad ever being said.
Oh, I thought he did say stepdad in the beginning.
Yeah, I guess it's unclear. I don't remember. But either way, like, his father figure is not down. He's definitely not down. With his son watching girly shows. And, you know, certainly not exploring his identity. Though, I guess in the end, like, he mentions that both his parents have died by the point that the film ends. So I don't know, maybe there's hope for him. It certainly ends with very little hope, seemingly, for him ever coming to terms with himself. But I do think that, you know, I guess you could read it that, like, his dad's out of the picture, so maybe it makes it a little easier for him or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To, like, leave the town, find her again.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Maybe it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a blowjob in the end.
Maybe. What do you think of that quick little blowjob moment, actually? Speaking of blowjobs. When his coworker is getting blowed down.
It's like, whatever. I don't know.
I mean,
It's just,
I mean, you brought it up. I mean,
I know.
no, I'm just kidding. I brought it up.
No. I mean, it's like, whatever. I mean, it was kind of funny. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Airheads. For some reason, like those shots when they're at work or whatever, like the lighting and stuff reminded me of a darker, not as fun version of Airheads when Steve Buscemi is working at a toy store and the like coworker is like, "Old man Markley said you have to mop the employee lounge." Really funny, actually. But I don't know. You know, it was what it was.
Did you kind of read it as like a queer identity kind of thing, or?
I mean, I think that seemed obvious for a long time, yeah. But, you know, I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't like I just wasn't fully engaged. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't totally trying to read it that hard, but I did feel that certain things felt a little bit like forceful, you know, in terms of like their symbol, like, you know, just certain things like towards the end and, you know, a lot of the metaphorical symbolism and stuff just felt like it felt obvious, I guess. But, you know, at the same time, I don't know.
Really?
Whatever. Also kind of random, too. I mean, not random. Like, it did feel just sort of, you know, it's, like, not linear, so there's a kind of sort of confusing aspect to it, but then some of the just, like, the visual elements looked cool, but were also, I don't know, something about, I don't know. I think it was, like, for a younger generation than me. I think I'm just too old for this movie or something like that.
I don't think you're too old for it. I think
I am. I know, I swear. It felt a little Nickelodeon-esque to me. Or like, it almost felt a little bit Disney Channel to me. A little bit. No offense.
I actually feel like
I can't explain it. It just had that feeling to me.
I feel like the times that it did get metaphorical, it's actually, I think, pretty layered. And I mean, it took me 2 full watches, I think, to even really nail down what now I feel like I have everything figured out. But the first time I watched it, I like had a read on it, but I was like, but I'm not really sure how everything clicks into place, like with my read. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm still mulling things over. And I've been mulling it over for a month. And then now rewatching it, I'm like, actually, I now can see, like, now I have this, like, placement for everything. But I feel like that, to me, implies that the metaphors were actually not so on the nose. And I feel like there were these layers of, like, I don't know, like when she's talking in that long speech about, you know, getting buried and then, like, crawling out and, like, you know, I definitely the first time
that seems on the nose, kind of.
To what?
To just like burying your true self, and then like, or like not burying your true self, but like, you know, whatever. Or like, yeah, she died and then she was reborn as a new person or whatever. You know what I mean? Like as a new identity, kind of. But also, here's the thing: I didn't care enough to try to analyze it that hard. I think there were certain things that just came out, you know, that seemed obvious, but then also maybe there were things that weren't, and I also was just like not that interested in trying to dig deeper, which I mean, I appreciate that you did. And like, I mean, after hearing you talk about it, I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe, you know, but something about the vibe of it, it just felt too, it actually reminded me of a 90s like type of Disney Channel type of show, but not even 90s. Like I would say like late 90s, early 2000s, which is again, that's like after the time at which I was interested in that sort of thing. Like that's when I felt that TV got bad. And music got bad too, like late 90s, early 2000s. That was like the lowest point for like just all of the arts in the mainstream for me, in my opinion. Like that was a low point. That's like when Limp Bizkit and like Korn was big.
Yeah. Oh, it's very much that
I didn't
vibe.
like
Yeah.
that. I didn't like that vibe. It's just not my vibe. You know what I mean?
It's very much that vibe from an era perspective, but I don't think the filmmaking style is
No,
like that. It's
not
like
the
the
filmmaking style, but
aesthetic
something
is,
about the actor, like something about just the feeling, something about the vibe of it did remind me of that. Not just the nostalgia aspect of it, but there was an essence to, I guess, the actors that I felt was like, it reminded me of like a Disney Channel kind of show or something like that, which I was a bit turned off by, I guess. So that kind of it kind of zoned me out a little bit, which I mean, look at, maybe I'm not being fair to it. I don't know.
Did you not love though? Like I loved the way I think it's so aware of the fact that I think the filmmaker has your opinion, Laura. Like because when you see the TV shows that they've created in this film, like the 90s, clearly riffing on late 90s, early 2000s TV shows, like they're cheesy as fuck. And I think there's intentional humor there coming from like how badly it's all acted and like
I'm not just talking about that part of it. I'm talking
Right,
about
right.
the non-TV show part. Like the main actor, I think, really had that vibe to me, for lack of better terms. Something about the way he was acting and just like the whole vibe of it just felt a little Disney Channel.
Mhm.
And even
It
the
is,
girl
yeah.
too.
Oh my
And
god,
I
yeah.
didn't like that. I don't know. I just didn't like that.
But
you know?
I felt like it was pretty accurate though to just like how people were back, like I don't know, or just how kids were. Like when she says that one, I crack up both times when she kind of gets into like where she's talking about like, because he goes over to her on the stands and he's like, hey, do you still watch that TV show, The Pink Opaque, with what's her name? And then she's like, ugh, what's her name? I don't talk to her anymore. She's a bitch. She's going around the school telling everyone that I touched her tit. What a bitch. Like, I just feel like that was very like late 90s high school girl,
Yeah,
No,
I
Like,
mean, sure. It's
it's
not
funny,
Okay,
like-
you know what it was? Well, that part was really reminded me of Mean Girls, for like the girl in Mean Girls that gets called a lesbian, and I think that she actually is a lesbian in that movie, but then she doesn't actually admit to it in the movie. But
definitely, yeah.
it wasn't that. It was okay. You know what it is? The actor actually didn't remind me of a late 90s, early 2000s Disney Channel person. He actually reminds me of a 2000 teens to 20s Disney Channel person, which is like even more not my thing. I don't know how to put my finger on it. It just wasn't my vibe. I don't know. And I hate to say the word vibe so many times. I'm just really just poor at my articulation today. So please ignore me. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
You know how like there's just certain qualities like that you can't, if it's just not grabbing you.
Look, I get it.
It's
I mean,
hard to be engaged. You know what I mean?
I will say, I mean, it sounds like you weren't invested in the kind of first half where I feel like it's pretty like linear and not surreal, and I was very invested in that to the point that it felt like very true to my experience. And I don't just mean like as a gay person, but I just mean like just as an awkward loner teen, like it felt to me quite true. And so I was so invested in these two characters that that's what, I mean, I think you're right. Like it sounds like you weren't invested in these two characters. So the latter half kind of just like it, if there's no base, then when the base unravels in the second half, like what do you even care that it's unraveling?
I
For
think
me,
you're
I was
saying it.
very,
You're saying a clear truth. Just
but
to
for me, that
spit it
base
out.
that base was quite strong. So watching it unravel to a more surreal place in the second half was like deeply affecting to me. Like I was like, oh shit, this is, I'm in. They got me. They hooked me. And so then it was like watching it play out was a joy for me.
It's interesting because a show like Pen 15.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so good.
See, I loved that. And that is basically the same era, except
Yeah, it is.
different grades, I guess, kind of the same grade. But for me, that felt more authentic. It's something about the essence of that really hooked me. I don't know. I was like it just felt real. You know what I mean? There was
they're
something
both-
about this
yeah.
that they're showing me these things that are true to a degree, but it doesn't quite feel. I don't know. Something like it just feels like the Disney Channel version of it or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I
I
don't
guess.
know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it was just there was something. I don't know. I've said my piece.
Do you think? I mean,
And there's,
I feel like they're
don't
both
know.
quite accurate, to be honest. But do you think that maybe you connected more with Pen 15 because it's like, I think Pen 15 is certainly more focused on like girls. Like it's being a girl.
Oh, you
in the
mean that
early
it wasn't
2000s.
like it wasn't like a queer kind of centric thing?
Well, not that. Not. I don't mean the opposite, but I just mean like maybe you're more invested in Pen 15 because it was like more specifically about like girls. You know, I loved them both, for example. But I'm saying like maybe that just like puts you over the edge a little bit because it's like felt more true to your experience, whereas like I think maybe this felt a little more true to my experience. You know.
I think Pen 15 was just more edgy overall. Like it really goes the full distance with that show. Like it fully commits and it just going deep. I feel like this movie is not. It's giving you a very surface kind of to me but also metaphorical and allegorical representation of the experience of like a youth experience, maybe as a trans or as a queer person. But it's not really like getting into the nitty gritty full on. You know what I mean? Like the way Pen 15 does, it just goes in there. You know what I mean? Like it's just so hardcore in a way. I feel
Right.
like.
Well, I think
And
they're different
I don't know.
tones
I like
entirely,
that.
though.
Yeah, I think the tone of that I resonated more with. I think I just.
Because it's a
I don't
comedy.
know.
It's like
Well,
it's like a gross out comedy. You know?
But I don't. I'm not. I don't only like gross out comedy movies. I mean,
I don't
I'm
think you
a
do.
huge advocate for like horror and experimental cinema, and I mean, I like what all kinds of different things. Really, it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. It was just something about the energy. I just couldn't latch on to. I think is what it comes down to.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to think of other movies that like are coming of age movies that are kind of about that have the same sort of bullet points to a degree, but I'm just drawing blanks right now. So
I think Nicole is saying exactly what I would have said, which is this is a movie about dissociation, which is very different from Pen 15, which is a comedy, which I also loved. Because she said I also loved, and I also loved Pen 15. But I do think that like when you're dealing with like comedy, that's kind of, I think the main thing that Pen 15 is a comedy. It is dramatic at times, but mostly it's just a fucking like you're just gonna be laughing the entire time, and it's really good at that. But I think when you're dealing with like something that's about, figuring yourself out, dissociating from reality, like these sorts of things, I don't think they lend to like going in the way that I think you're talking about, because I think what you're talking about is like, oh, let's get into like the I think the nitty gritty is the dissociation, and I think that they do get into that, but they're not getting into like the nitty gritty of like what were the bands that we were listening to, what were the like these kind of like touchstones or whatever in a more general sense. I think it's like really zoned in on loners, outsiders, disassociation, gender identity, queer identity. Like it's like everything in the movie is gonna have to be adding to that theme, and I think if it didn't add to that theme, even if it was like true and getting into the nitty gritty, it would be distracting, I think, from the point.
I don't know. Maybe that's it. But yeah, like it did remind me a little bit of that movie Nowhere, which maybe you should check that out. I would be curious to get your opinion on that, because I think that also deals with some kind of queer issues and stuff like that, and is kind of a surreal movie, and also has similar themes, maybe not exactly the same, but I wonder what you would think about that.
Why can I only
Somehow
find
those
like the
people seem more
stupid new one that's
older.
on Netflix? What's the year on it?
Oh,
Do you-
Nowhere.
or like
it's,
generally like 90s? Or?
I think like the 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
So I'm trying to find it. Oh,
Let me
97. Okay,
Yeah.
now.
Hold on. Let's see who that director
Oh,
is.
Greg
Yeah.
Araki. Oh, yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
no wonder. I mean, he's like big time.
How Have you watched his movies?
Yeah, I've seen I've only seen a couple of his films, but I mean, I think what's the one with the guy from Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Doom? No. Oh,
He
not
did-
Doom Generation. No, that was another one with
Mysterious
Rose McGowan.
Skin, which
I haven't
has
seen that.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's like one of his, I think, more famous films.
Oh shit, he did Buffalo '66.
No, he didn't.
Oh no, sorry, that's just people also search for. Never mind.
No, he's a gay director, Greg Araki, like a famous gay
Mm-hmm.
director. All of his films are always dealing with like queer themes. And
See, that
Nowhere,
movie
though, yeah.
feels like. I think you'd like it. I think something about the people in that movie, and maybe it's just because I was younger when I watched it, seem like more mature. Like they seem older and more edgy to me than these kids seem like. They just they seem too young or something like that.
Well, I also just think that they're
I
like
don't
kind
know.
of losers, like these two.
No, but they're
people are-
losers in a way that's like not. I don't know. It
And when I
just
say
feels
losers,
something.
let me clarify too. When I say losers,
Mm-hmm.
I mean like outsiders, like outcasts. Like
Well, yeah.
I was a loser, like
I mean,
that's not a bad
weren't
thing.
we all? Well, at
Well,
least
yeah.
I was.
yeah, as was I.
But
Like I just
I
mean that
mean-
I'm not calling them like I was that, but I would say many people probably would have called them losers in high
you
school.
don't say that in a contentious way.
Yeah, exactly. Almost a compliment, if anything.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
anyways.
Anyways, yeah. So I think
Like that.
yeah, we could probably wrap this up, I think. But any last words you want to say about I Saw the TV Glow?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at Nick Lee's 27's comment. Donnie
Yeah.
Darko is a great comparison. I logged in on my computer. Oh, well, see, now I did like Donnie Darko.
I love Donnie Darko. Love it.
Was more connected to that character for some reason. I thought that what's his name was really good in that.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
An
Yeah,
early role.
Like he's got that edge, you know.
I mean, yeah, I fucking love Donnie Darko. Like that's one of my all-time favorite movies. So I mean,
Such
yeah,
a good
it's like,
soundtrack. Oh my god, so good. Anyway,
soundtrack's amazing. Yeah. I think it's a
all right,
good
we should-
comparison tonally, kind of, but like Donnie Darko is still to me much more of a comedy than this is. I think the comparison's apt though in the sense of like that it starts to get a little weird and surreal as things go on. Like it starts quite grounded and then it gets a little out there with like the time dilation thing and like like these kind of there's something about like looping back to like this old time kind of thing. So I get the comparison there, but I do think tonally this film, it's like funny at times. I mean, I Saw the TV Glow is funny at times, but mostly I would not describe it as like a comedy. It's pretty dark. Anyways,
well, that movie Nowhere, that's not a comedy. That's kind of a dark, surreal kind of coming of age type of thing.
I would
That's
love to
would
see
be
this.
the closest thing I would compare this to, kind of. Except, yeah, you should watch it. We should watch it for the show. Actually.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean,
I'd be down.
I've been meaning to watch more Greg Araki films just because he's always talked about in like as one of the great gay filmmakers, and I have only seen Mysterious Skin. Oh, actually, I saw Kaboom. I didn't really like Kaboom, but I think like his earlier stuff is what I'd be interested in seeing more, anyways. Like his '90s films, because that's what he's like most known for. Mysterious Skin is 2004, but yeah, he has like this series of 90s films that I know he's known for. Totally Fucked Up, The Doom Generation, and Nowhere.
Doom Generation. I remember when that came out, and that was very exciting, and seemed just like very edgy at the time.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah.
That one's good. I like Nowhere more, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Cool.
okay. Sorry, we should probably end. I got it. My head is really hurting for some reason.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Well, thanks
Bye.
again, everyone, for tuning
Yeah.
in. This was this was fun. It was fun to chat about this movie. I know I talked a lot, but yeah, those are our thoughts. Check it out if you so wish. If you've made it this far and haven't checked it out, you really may as well watch the film. But we'll be back again in 2 weeks, right? We've confirmed that.
Yes. Let me just double check.
The 14th. I have it in my calendar. I think we've talked about it.
Yes.
So we'll be
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode. We haven't decided the movie yet, but follow us on Instagram, and we always kind of announce it a little bit ahead of time. Yeah, I think that's it. Any last words, Laura?
I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good night.
Good night.